Hi, everyone. Welcome to Adding It All Up. My name is Sarah Walker. I am a cash slash hybrid budgeter. I use digital and also cash to do my budget. I am part of the second, this is the second series of ODBJ, which is Other Debt Budget Journey. Yes, I'm going to get this down. I'm telling you, ODBJ. So today we're supposed to talk about our how, like how did we get started doing budgeting? So mine started with Dave Ramsey. You guys saw my first one, my why, but it really started with this book here. This is an old book, guys. It's your money map. It's from Crown Financial Ministries. I actually had started with this guy with them, and basically like how do you go for true financial freedom, which here's kind of like the money map here, right? So we got to a point in our life where it was just hard, and so I was like, well, how do I do this budgeting thing, right? Like, how do you actually budget? So I didn't even know where to begin, and I was an accountant at that point, and I wasn't really sure like what I did. I knew I had income coming in, I knew I had income coming out, but I didn't really know where it was going, right? Like that was the whole point. So I tried to do this, and it didn't really work great for me. And so then I actually, through that system, this money map, one of the co-founders of this passed away. And so they kind of went away. And there's this guy screaming on the radio about sell your car, like, trying to help people get out of debt. And his name was Dave Ramsey. And so I started listening to his show because I was like, well, if this guy can do it in Tennessee, why can't I do it? Like, what's so hard about this? Well, I was struggling, right? I didn't know what to do. We didn't have Facebook. Or we had Facebook, but we didn't have like YouTube wasn't like huge. People weren't going on it all the time like it is now. I call it YouTube University. Um, so we didn't have a lot of that stuff. So I was listening to Dave Ramsey on the radio, and I thought, wow, he's got a money maker. He's got this book, Total Money Makeover, and I bought the book. And that's when we started like learning about budgeting and how we should budget. And then my friend called me and said, hey, there's a class that is basically this class that we can take, that we can learn how to budget God's way. And I said, okay, fine. So me and her volunteered our husbands to come with us, and we started doing that. And it really got me into like, how do you budget, right? Like what's a zero-based budget? What is all these different terms and terminology, and what do you do? And so we really started getting gazelle intense at that point. So me and my husband, we actually sat down and actually looked at all of our bills and what money we had coming in, because we had some pretty hefty credit card debt. Like I told you before, we paid off credit card debt completely debt free. Got a little bit back into credit card debt because we weren't really budgeting. So we have to, like, this is something that we realize that we have to keep doing it, right? We have to keep budgeting. So we just started budgeting. So I'll get into like how we actually, like, that's what I did. I was on Pinterest boards. I was on some YouTubes. The Budget Mom, I started seeing her stuff. And I can't even remember. I think she was on Dave Ramsey for something. And I thought, oh my gosh, here's a woman that's budgeting. This is awesome. So I found her on Instagram, and I found her on at different places. And I thought, okay, I could do this. If she can do this, I can do this, right? And that was like 7 years ago. Anyway, that's how long I've been following her. And then she started doing, she had this workbook. So I was like, oh, this workbook follows the Dave Ramsey steps. So I just started like, going through and looking at the workbook and trying to figure it out. So I used all kinds of different resources. Not only was I went and sat for I'm a personal financial coach. I have a little certificate that says I am. I've just always been interested in like trying to figure out how that all works and how to get the budget to work. So I'm constantly looking to see if and guys, the one thing I've figured out is like, it's all the same. It just fits for your situation, right? Because everybody's budget's different. Like everybody's budget's different. I don't care what you say, but everybody's budget is uniquely tied to them. So that is part of the problem, that some things work for certain people and some things don't work for certain people because everybody's different. Like our budgets are all different. Our needs are all different. We're all in different phases of our lives. I'm an empty nester. When I had my kid, I was different, when we were moving a lot, I mean, that's something different. I mean, my job was moving all the time. Um, we had a budget for that. I mean, we didn't, but we made it work. So there's just different things that you have to have, and different, like, it's just everybody's different. So how I started budgeting might not be the way somebody else started budgeting. But I've always had this passion. I have this weird thing when I go down the highway. Most people don't do this. My husband says not most people do this. So I'll go down the highway and I'll look at a business and I'll be like, I wonder what made them start an excavating business. Like, I'm always interested in people's stories of how they started their businesses and why they still do it. Or like when I'm talking to clients and stuff, like I'm like, oh, why are we doing an Amazon business, right? Like, what made you decide to do an Amazon business? And then they tell me, and I'm like, well, that's really neat and cool. Or, someone wanted to start a clothing business. I'm like, that's great. I had another person just not too long ago. We started a boat business. It's a natural extension of what he's doing, but he's always wanted to sell boats, and so this is just a natural extension of what he does right now. So he sells fishing lures and fishing equipment. So the boats are just part of that. So it's me. It's my husband thinks it's weird. I think it's normal to drive down the highway and go, I wonder why that person decided to sell houses. I wonder why that person's a farmer. I wonder why, like I always wonder. And so the how on budgeting is really like, how do you get started? Like, where do you go look? Like, there's so much information. It's overwhelming at one point. But I would tell you to pick one, stick with it, decide what it is you want to do, and work with it for about a month. If it doesn't work, move on to something different. Um, you can have a little bit of ADD. I kind of joke about that, but you can have that a little bit when you're doing this, because if it's not working for you, it's not working. Just move on to the next thing that kind of makes sense. And then eventually will be something that you will figure out that you like to do, that you want to do, that you figured out is best for you. So what I would tell you is that figure out what works for you, figure out what is the best for you, um, and figure out like what makes sense. Pinterest, YouTube. I mean, there is a ton of YouTubers out here that when I first started, there wasn't a lot of YouTubers. I mean, this book is from 1985, guys. 1985. I was in kindergarten, I think then, but this book is from 1985. So believe it or not, how to budget has been around that long, and this was like the Dave Ramsey of the day. Um, that people did. So there's ebbs and flows. Everyone, I mean, you guys probably know about Oprah. Susie Orman went on Oprah. She like got really big because of it. There's just tons and tons and tons of information out there about it. But I think what it boils down to is not necessarily how, it's just start. So that is what I'm going to leave you with today, is just start and find that person that you connect with, that you understand, that that you really like are connecting with and you trust, because there's a lot of scammers out here too, guys. So be really careful about who you're giving your personal information to. As an accountant, as someone that works in the business every day, we get like hundreds of emails that say, hey, we can help you with a loan, just put your information in here. But it's not from a reputable company, or it's not really from a company, it's from a scammer trying to get your information. So just be very careful. I'll never put anything in the chat like, hey, I'm going to DM you for my WhatsApp. I mean, those are all scams. We all know that. But I would just tell you your how needs to be very, very personalized to yourself. So figure out what works for you and go from there. Okay, everyone have a great day. Can't wait to see all my budgeters on here to see their hows and what they did and how they got started. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.